Moody.
Right, guys, it's another Sunday. It's the Wiccan Warriors Sunday share again. We're here. We've got some different stuff to talk to you about tonight. But I think, because we haven't done this for a little while, and I've got to keep remembering the camera's up there. I keep reminding you and reminding me as well. I think we should do an introduction because we haven't introduced ourselves for a little while.
Go on then, knock yourself out.
Okay. My name's Alistair and I'm a mediumistic spiritual life coach.
Oh, that was
There you go.
that was
Yeah.
quite short. That
Caught you out, didn't it?
caught me out a treat. All right, I'll have a drink in a minute. My name's Penny. I'm an empath, a doula, a dowser, and numerous other things.
Excellent. And we're here every week. We're here every Sunday to kind of debrief the week a little bit and sort of let you know what we've been up to spiritually. I think it's been good the last few days because we've had 3 days together. You've been off work. But
Yay, finally.
before that, it's not great. I've got to take over the shopping at Tesco's and people don't know whether they're wearing masks or not.
Stop being moody.
So let us know your thoughts. If you're there, drop us a little comment. Penny will have a look on the comments bit because she was adamant she wanted to sit in front of the computer to do that bit. So if you can take us to the comments, Penny. Right, tell you what then,
Oh right, okay. We've already got 2 comments there.
Oh, where they gone?
Hey, top fan.
Leah, top fan here. Ah, yeah, did you see the comment from Anna saying that she wasn't going to be able to make it?
I did.
Yeah, put
I
a little
did.
sad face on that one. Terrible.
It's just not
Terrible
good enough.
stuff.
I think we might have to remove her top fan status.
There's Marion. Marion's here. Hi, Marion.
Hi, Marianne.
How's the dog shows going? I've seen little snippets, but let us know. Let us know what your week's been like as well. Ours has been different because mine, I don't know if anybody's watched my single podcast, I come out of a bit of a negative spiral, so the last few days have been quite good.
I haven't been here, so
How's your week been?
tiring
Why?
because I've been at work. And it's a lot of thinking and talking to people, which I haven't done for 2 years.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's been quite overwhelming and a bit wearing.
It has. Tonight, we're going to talk to you about some stuff that we did yesterday. We went to a body and spirit,
Mind, body, spirit
show,
fair.
gathering, group of people, all gathered in a hall, and there was everything there. There was tarot readers there was crystal sales there was Reiki there. We had the aura pictures, which we'll talk about in a little bit.
Yeah. I went to one a couple of years ago and it was quite big and it was brilliant, and there were all different kinds of attractions there, and they do mini seminars as well, of which they were doing yesterday.
Yeah, they were on the stage.
They were
doing talks.
doing about past life regression. That was a little mini one, but we missed that. And there was one about psychic drawings from a psychic artist that was there. So that was pretty good.
Yeah, it was good. I mean, the last one we went to was before lockdown.
Yeah, it wasn't quite on the same scale, was
No,
it?
that was only a little one. No, this one was it was very friendly. I thought it was quite a friendly place. It was good.
It was a friendly place.
So, never know, we might actually put a stall in one. Not sure. We're looking at potentially booking something.
Yeah.
But so Marion's come out. She didn't go to the show the weekend. Yeah, so Marion's not been to a spirit. You need to organise one then. There's bound to be one near you, Marion.
Marion said she went to one a couple of years ago and she enjoyed it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You need to go to one again.
Yeah. It was a last minute thing because we haven't had the opportunity to really engage with the spiritual stuff
No.
of late. And because we've had a few really heavy weeks, I just thought it was a nice idea. It was a bit of a drive, but it was lovely.
It is the unfortunate thing, I think, is that as much as I want to be talking about spiritualism and mediumship and crystals and all the rest of it, that doesn't seem to be where my podcast is kind of aiming. So yesterday I thought was a real breath of fresh air. It's good. It gave me a nice boost and a charge.
So shall we start with, what was your frame of mind when we first arrived?
It's always the same frame of mind. how many cold readers am I going to spot? And I can't help it. I'm always just kind of err on the side of suspicious.
And a little bit moody.
Yeah, I tend to be a little bit frosty, but I'm frosty for another reason as well. It's because I find it difficult to block everybody's energy out. And when you get a room full of psychics, they're all there feeding off of different energy. They've all brought different things with them.
And the people that come to see them and to have readings and things, they've
Yeah.
brought their own energy.
So to me, it felt like the room had probably 3 times the amount of people in there, rather than just the amount there was. I mean, it wasn't a massive hall, but it wasn't small either. But once everybody was in and you could fit, and we walked round twice to have a look at everything. Yeah, I was a little bit frosty with the wildlife people.
You were a little bit. I did drag you away from them. They looked frightened.
Well, I said no politely, and they thought they could change my mind.
Oh.
And as they found out, they couldn't.
So we did. We had a walk round twice.
Yep.
Suss out who was there and what they were doing and what their motives were.
Yeah, there was a North-style shaman there, John.
There was. So we went first to have an aura reading.
Yeah, we did. That was interesting. I feel like I'm doing the one talking here, but I'm the one that caused the problem.
Yeah, I thought it was me, in all honesty, and that's why I stepped back. I thought it was me, because I sometimes mess up electrical stuff. But it wasn't.
No, it was kind of, I'm going to say strange, but it helped confirm stuff for me. Because when we went in, we sort of originally said to this guy, Steve, about having the pictures done, and wrote our names on his kind of time sheet thing. And then I sat down, you get a machine put on your lap, you put your hand on, and he's sort of looking at his computer going, oh, no, this is not working. So I take your hand off again. Okay, put your hand back on. No, and he's moving the camera around.
He rebooted the computer twice.
Yeah, he turned the computer on and off twice. And then I sort of went, look, I must be causing something, and we'll come back. So Penny sat down, and it still wouldn't do it.
No.
It wouldn't behave at all. So we sort of said to the guy, look, that's bad, but I'd already put my name down for a reading with a Norse Germanic shaman. So I wanted to head over to there. So I left you, and then it was working then when you come back, didn't it?
Yeah.
Then I come back from my other reading, sat back down, and that's when we got the actual photo taken. And he was of the opinion, and so am I, I'm of the opinion that I was so frosted and buzzing when I went in there of all the energy. There was no way that that camera was going to be able to pick up on it properly, and that's what Steve in the end explained.
You flooded it with negative energy.
Yeah, all the colours that you see within it, they'd gone completely off the spectrum. So the camera's computer algorithm couldn't cope with the amount of information it was receiving, which I thought was quite cool, because it was a way of me confirming that I did affect the camera. It wasn't just a camera taking a pretty photo. That sceptical part of my brain, that when you see the honesty in Steve as he was doing it, sort of going, well, I don't know what's going on here, I need to sort this out and reboot it, to then get the picture, you couldn't help but go, yeah, I definitely affected it. The camera reacted different to me than it did to anybody else.
It took a little while to settle down after you'd gone, because I sat down and it wouldn't do it, and he restarted the computer again, and we talked a little bit, and then it worked. All of a sudden it worked again, and it was really good. Had a really good reading. The photos that he's taken aren't the most attractive ones of us, because we obviously couldn't see the screen.
No.
And it takes it at a random point.
Yeah, I managed to get mine done where I look like I'm either dead or asleep.
It is a little bit like a death photo.
But what do you guys think? Let us know. Have you ever had an aura photo taken? What did yours come out as? What did you think? Did you think it was wishy-washy rubbish, or do you 100% believe in it? I have to say, from that perspective, I believed in it beforehand. I just wasn't sure that the person doing it was legit.
Yeah, okay.
Because, as you know, when you work with Reiki, I'm not very good at seeing the colours of somebody's aura, but I can see the aura. I can feel that the aura's there, but I don't think I have the same empathy level as you to be able to pick out different colours and things
But
like
then
that.
I am brilliant white, because that's what the reading came out as.
So we're going to go through the aura just a little bit. I'm not going to go into massive amounts of detail, because as you can imagine, it's all about the colours that are there, and each of the colours represents a state of mind, or how your physical and metaphysical are. And it was quite a bit of time spent talking about our masculine strengths and our feminine strengths, which I had a little bit of an issue with. I'm not a fan of embracing my feminine side. I'm much more comfortable on...
Anywho, let that bit go.
Oh, okay. Didn't think it was a let go situation, but fair enough.
It's quite hard to describe how it works. It is about, everybody is full of is surrounded by natural energy, and that the machine uses electricity to fire through your aura, your energy that surrounds you, and what colours are identified during that shot of electricity is captured by the computer. And the computer's got a program and an algorithm that works out what each of those colours mean and where they sit around you, what they mean. We only had a really minor reading. They do quite an intense one where it's a full body chakra reading as well on top. So we only had like a little minor one. You look like you zoned out.
No, Marion, I've never had it done, but I've seen other people, and I do believe in it. I'm not sure, like I said, where they get the coloured spectrums from. I'm not sure if the algorithms from the computer are adding the spectrum of colour. That bit I'm slightly confused about.
I had already said what my colours were, my aura colours were, before we sat down and before we took the photo.
Yeah, I'm just... How do you get a colour filter from plain light? How do you get a colour filter on electricity? A metaphysical electrical
Did
area.
I not say at the beginning, I can't describe how it is done. I can give you my vague understanding of it, but
So
I don't do aura photography.
No, not
But
right.
I've seen auras, and I've seen my aura, so I already knew what my colours were before I sat down.
I hadn't. I'd never seen one. I expected it just to be a black. Just a big black. Or a little silver halo just above my head, something like that.
No, that was never going to happen. So it's broken down into the body, the mind and the spirit. And there is a little algorithm that it does to work out how much you live within your body or within your mind or within your spirit.
Yep.
And the ideal situation is that you are 33% in each one, in total balance, in total harmony. So I can show you mine, maybe. You can see this little circle here shows it's almost perfect.
So Mary Poppins, practically perfect.
Practically perfect in every way. Although it's very slightly more into spiritual, very slightly.
Mine come out as a 45% body, 26% mind, 27% spirit. So I ended up with more of the body reading side of things, so more fixed on this physical plane.
Mm-hmm.
Which I expected, because I've not been doing very spiritual stuff. I've not been meditating as much.
No.
So yeah, that.
And these readings are a snapshot of what you were presenting at
the time.
that point that the photo was taken. So they look at different categories, at different sections of the body, and where the lights appear around you. So they focus on experience, the future, expression, communication, empathy, the solar plexus, the sacral, the root, and that's it.
Basically, all the chakra points.
Kinda, yeah. Although it wasn't a full chakral reading.
No, so that was only what? Crown, throat, third eye.
That's
Literally
that's
just head.
what he was seeing, but the interpretation by the software works out what the other bits are apparently.
Oh, okay.
Hence why you get the.
I don't think we
solar
should go
plexus.
into all the detail.
No, I
think
agree.
we'll bore you if we go into all the
I agree.
kind of read-ups that are all there. But it does tell you kind of defining colours, and I thought mine was quite ironic that my overall colour was lavender.
It's true. That's amazing.
Yeah, overall colour lavender, central colour turquoise, heart light violet, and then my throat lavender again. So it's lavender, lavender, lavender everywhere.
It is. And mine was, my empathy is aquamarine. My throat chakra is blue, which is about communication. Where did you get your overall? What is your overall?
Average overall.
Oh, aquamarine.
Yeah.
Oh, that's quite cute. So yeah, we put the photos up on the Facebook page.
Yep.
So you're welcome to go and have a look. They're not the most attractive, and to be honest, he even said when you looked at the comparison of the picture on the screen to what his printer kicked out, mine was a really deep blue, but in the printout it looks more purpley.
Yeah, it does a bit.
So.
But no, if you're ever at an event where they're doing it and you get the opportunity to do it, I'd recommend it.
I would recommend it. I thought it was really interesting, and I had such a interesting conversation with him afterwards. We sat afterwards and did a spiritual link. So we sat facing each other with his hands placed over mine, or vice versa. I can't remember now. And then kind of did a meditation to see what came through. And then clearly he quite liked my energy. So we stood up and then did it again. And if anybody was looking in the room, they'd have probably have thought we was a little bit bonkers, to be fair. But it was really good. And I got a spiritual connection with somebody that I didn't expect.
Yeah,
that I haven't before, and it made me quite emotional, and I was a bit teary.
Sorry, I'm tired.
Am I boring you?
A little bit. No, you're not.
So
Not at
mean.
all.
And then he tried to have that connection with you,
Yeah,
and it just wasn't going to happen.
Yeah, I'm not very good, and this is on a physical level. In a crowded room where there's lots of people milling around, lots of people talking, not just the spiritual side of the energy that's flowing around the room, just the actual physical noise that 30, 40 people low level talking makes. I struggle to hear people over the top of that, to the point where yesterday driving home I thought I actually might go and have a hearing test. Specsavers do a proper hearing test, because I struggle to listen to Steve with all that background noise, so I need to know whether it's physical or psychological.
That's psychological.
So I like to rule out the physical first.
But I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a really good experience, and it's something I've wanted to do for years and just never got round to doing.
Yeah, it was one of them, he sort of, what did he say to me? He was sort of explaining it to me, and I sort of went, yeah, all right, spot on. Now, head, bravo, dude.
Yeah.
And then he looked at me a bit funny.
Yeah, I don't think he quite understood
No.
your energy, but you went off and spoke to your Nordic shaman.
Yeah, I went off and spoke to a guy called John Odinson Dyke. And albeit he was the first, he was like the first reader in the hall on the left-hand side, everything on the walls was Nordic, it was Norse, it was Germanic, it was old school. He did say the name of the people that he was from, but I can't remember what that was now. And he kind of explained a series of human roots that go all the way back to Asia and things. And I kind of let him go off on that tangent. I'm not sure how far all of that stuff goes. It gets a bit speculatory. History is just stories. but when he did the reading, that was needed for me. I don't know how to explain it to you guys so you kind of understand it without... He picked out that I'd got a number of things that I was concerned about, worried about, and lack of a confidence of. So I had what effectively you could class as a pep talk. So that was really good. That really focused me and refocused me quite a bit. Because then once I'd spoken to John is when I went back to have my aura reading done. So in that instance, I'd had the reading with John and that had changed my energy. I can't go into detail about the things he said, but it covered to do with things, my spirituality, my confidence, my putting myself into boxes. Like, I'm really drawn to the word shaman, but I don't feel like I'm old enough for the term yet.
It's just a word.
Exactly, and that's exactly what John said. It's just a term. And it's like, well, yeah, but I struggle to figure out which terms people use for me to fit into. So I might have to just... I'm going to make a word up, I think.
Do it.
Just make my own...
Other people need a label to explain.
Yeah, and I'm really not into that at all. It does my head in a bit. So for me to say to him, so what does it mean as a shaman? And he went, it's just a word. It's on the board because that's what people need to see. And I kind of got that, and that made sense. And where I was having those kind of crisis of self moments, he was, through his reading, that was good. That boosted me up a bit. So,
and we were quite well behaved. We only did a tiny bit of shopping. I did want to buy everything that I saw, but I didn't. So
yeah, they had some
well
nice
behaved.
crystals on there. What's the name of that crystal stall again? What was it called? 447 Crystal Summit?
Heaven.
447 Crystal Heaven. Yeah, that was it. So yeah, they had some really cool stuff, which is where I got my rose quartz, raven's skull.
And they had a really cool dragon's head as well, but I was being really well behaved and thought I might get that online.
I want to wear it.
It will break. Look how thin it is here, and rose quartz isn't a very forgiving...
My other thought is I'll put it on a headdress.
Go full.
Yeah, go full third eye.
You do know that with your hair like that, you look like a, I'm going to say chicken.
As opposed to you look like a cock.
Roll. Yes.
Thanks.
Yes. Apologies.
But either way, what I'm looking for is a raven skull in a crystal that's perhaps not as big as that I can actually wear. Because I like that raven skull, that's cool.
It is really nice, and it's nice that it's rose quartz as well.
I'm always drawn to rose quartz. It's a nice masculine colour and stuff, isn't it? I can't help it, I don't know, I always get drawn to rose quartz.
And I treated myself on a different stall to a rather expensive, super large smudge stick.
When you've got to do a lot of smudging.
When I've got to go and do house cleansings, it's a lot more practical.
So what is a smudge stick, Penny? For those out there that don't chicken head. Thanks, Marion. Just in that comment proper.
So this one is white sage, and honestly I don't use white sage for any other reason than I like the smell. And it's as with all things that if you're drawn to something, it doesn't matter what a textbook says and what somebody else says, it's about matching your energy to what you're using, and that makes it more effective. So in my case, I like to use white sage because it smells pretty and I feel a good connection with it. So basically it's it clears the air, so I light it and then essentially stub out the flame, and I use a feather and I brush it into the corners of the rooms, any recesses, to flush out any negative energy and to fill it with the positivity. That's the real basic version of that. Some people don't use a feather, they use a shell. Many times I've just used my hand.
Yeah, love it.
As long as it goes into all of the corners, that's the important bit. So I thought I'd treat myself to that. It was quite expensive for what it is, I've tried to make them, but I can never make them compact enough.
Yeah, we did grow some sage, didn't we?
Yeah.
But I mean, technically, that being rose quartz, I should really put next to my bed.
No, you shouldn't.
Why
What?
shouldn't I?
Because you shouldn't put crystals next to your bed.
Well, I always had rose quartz next
Yeah,
to
I
my bed.
know.
It was to help me sleep and to
As
absorb negative
long
energy.
as that works. How well do you sleep?
Not particularly.
Oh, have you got crystals next to your bed?
No, not anymore.
Oh.
Because you said no. So, come on then, next plan. No, it's because I just don't sleep very well sometimes. I've got stuff going through my head. It's because I've got loads of stuff going through my head to do with my podcast. So I've got loads of stuff going on with that. And then loads of kind of spiritually stuff I want to do as part of that podcast. I might just do the odd podcast for Wiccan Warriors. Just an individual one. Because I've got that box.
I apologise in advance for anything that happens or anything that's transmitted when I'm not here. Left to your own devices, it is worrisome.
I might do. I'm not sure.
No.
Let me put that down because I'm going to drop it and break it. I can feel it.
Yeah, so don't do it.
So yeah, so on the whole, the show was good. The people organising it were really nice. Everybody there was friendly. Things I'd like to have done that we didn't. I'd like to have had. There was somebody there doing like basic massage. It was just inside the door on the right hand side.
Yeah.
It weren't aromatherapy. It was a different one. It's like Reiki, but I can't remember what she called it now. I can't remember. It might have just been aromatherapy. But in that situation, my neck and shoulders always benefit from a massage and Reiki and things like that.
But they might not have done in that environment, because if you couldn't relax in that environment because of all the noise,
Yeah, no, you're absolutely
you
right.
probably wouldn't have got as much out of that as you
No,
would
not
hope.
from a spiritual point, only from a physical point of view.
Yeah. I did a little interesting experiment though while I was there. I don't tend to do this, which was that I opened up in the room. Again, if anybody had seen me, they'd have thought I was bonkers. I just stood in the middle of the room with my eyes shut and opened.
You were in a room full of people that are bonkers.
It is true.
How would you stand out?
But I opened up to see what I got, and the first thing I saw was a young man standing next to the psychic artist, looking over his shoulder at what he was drawing. And he reached over and put his hand on his arm, and if on his shoulder, and if I didn't know any better, and I don't know any better, I got the feeling it was a son, and he was in his, I don't know, I'm going to say early 20s. But I could see him from across the room, and he was really intently watching.
Is there anything there you'd like to have done? Would you like to have had a tarot reading from somebody, or...?
No. Didn't appeal to me.
Except you're brilliant to interview, that's just great.
No,
Is there anything you'd like to do?
I was
No.
formulating an answer.
Ah.
You said, would I like to have a tarot reading? And my answer was no. I don't feel that I needed a
Okay,
tarot
so
reading. If
what
I
was
wanted to
there?
do one, I was confused by the numerology lady, because you tried to push her into a corner of explain the numbers and relation to life, and she seemed to spin off on a tangent.
Well, her original statement didn't make sense to me, because I asked, it was to do with souls, your soul and numerology, so your numerology, your power of numbers. And I said to her, how do you get from the spirit, being spirit bound, to numbers, which are a man-made construct? How do you get from spirit to numbers? And her first statement was, everything boils down to numbers. I was like, no, it doesn't. In my brain, I went, no, it doesn't. Everything boils down to life and energy. Numbers, all the numbers that we've got in every single language, they're all man-made. So any pattern or algorithm that applies that from numbers to spirit is pure coincidence. It can't be real, because you're making the numbers fit your equation. Because so I didn't. She kind of needs to work out a nice catch 30 seconds that explains how, because
I think that's only for people like you though that want more detail. Because I heard her doing a reading for somebody and they looked absolutely enthralled by everything that she said.
I mean, I get the numbers thing. I've had significant numbers throughout my life, but none of them I would have linked to a spiritual side. I would never link numbers to my subconscious, metaphysical bit. When I'm meditating and float off, there's no numbers involved in that. I'm in a state of mind that has no human construct whatsoever. There's no human equation in there at all, because that's all man-made. Sorry, there's a rabbit hole that I've gone down, and I don't know if I'm making sense to you guys or not, but you have to add the numbers in to make the equation work. Your soul doesn't come with a barcode of numbers.
Or does it?
Well, or does it? Yes. Are we all in the Matrix? And that's just barcode.
Had she said we all come with a barcode of numbers, she would have hooked you right in.
Well, yeah, but I'm like that. I want people to challenge me. If somebody comes to me and says, "Well, what the fuck makes you a shaman?" I go, "I don't know. Somehow, if you ask me a question, the information you need, I'll find somehow. Whether it's me that's got it or I'm the conduit for it, I'll find it." But when somebody walks up to you and says, "Well, how do you get from soul to numbers?" You can't say everything boils down to numbers.
To be fair, she seemed fairly confident in her technique, and her the way she spoke was very matter of fact. Like, why don't you all know this kind of thing?
But if you flipped it on your head, then I would go for it. If you said, if you apply this numerical system to your life,
yeah,
it will help. But it's the fact that the statement went the other way, that the soul provides the numbers. No, if you can write an algorithm of numbers that helps you lead a better life through looking for these numbers, or numbers that have traits or behaviours that you can pick up, and then you think, right, I need to display a number 6 or a number 7, or I'm not going to say a number 2 because that'd be rude. But if those numbers link in to help you make your world better, then I see the complete logic. But yeah, I'm afraid I'm always going to question things.
I've never engaged with numerology. It's never really appealed to me, but then I don't have a connection with numbers.
No, I don't mind it. I think
I'm sure that it works for somebody. There's a reason why things are out there. It's because somebody engages with it and somebody gets a payoff from it or something out of it.
So what would you like to see at the next event then? What is something you'd like to do that wasn't there?
Oh, I don't know.
That's a good question.
That is a good question. I'll tell you what I didn't see there, any palmistry.
No, good point.
I would have liked that. I might have...
Palmistry, phrenology?
No, see, phrenology, even though I'm interested in it, there's so many things that happen in life where you bang your head and develop a lump. Does that mean that changes your character? Because that happens? Because that's what you're reading when you read somebody's head.
Don't know. Does a phrenologist read scars, or do they read bumps? Can
they
tell
read
the
bumps.
So
yeah.
Can they tell the difference between an
old
bump or a new bump? Or...
Of course you can't. Not unless somebody goes, ow, because you pressed the bump and they've just done it.
Okay, so palmists and a phrenologist. What else wasn't there?
I don't know.
Food. That's what wasn't there.
Oh, all right. There was
That's
no
what they needed
food.
There. They needed somebody there doing something like jacket potatoes, or don't put a vegan there wrapping lettuce leaves up the stuff, because that's, I know we're all spiritual and everything, but a good burger would be great. Or get the Women's Guild or whatever. What was it called? This
WI.
WI. Get them there. Bacon sandwiches and a cup of tea for 50p.
You can't get a bacon sandwich for 50p.
No, I know. But no, it was a really good event, but it would have been cool if there'd been something
I wanted there to be more choice of what was there. It seems like it's always the same things. It's a crystal stall.
Yep. It's
a photo frame thing that had little gem pictures in it that were all the same.
Yeah.
I don't know what I want, but I don't want that. I want something different.
Okay.
I want somebody that's going to sell dowsing rods and pendulum crystals and things that will encourage people to go out and have a go of spirit communication. There wasn't actually any spirit communicators there, although it does advertise that mediums can go, and some of the people that were doing readings were listed as mediums because they do the same thing that we do. They read cards, and during the reading, someone connects and comes through. But there were no specific, I've brought nothing with me, I'm just sitting here in a chair and I'm going to connect with you. There was no psychometry. There was no psychometrists there.
Psychometry is not one you'd have in a situation like that.
Why? People bring stuff. You took something with you.
I did. Yeah, I did. Before we got there, again, because of my sceptical mind, and I will call somebody out if I feel it's being wishy-washy. If I'm being wishy-washy, cold red, then I'll call somebody out. So what I did was, before we set off, I picked up something off my altar. Didn't tell Penny I'd done it at all. Didn't tell anybody. I picked it up and put it in my pocket and took it with me. And thought, if anybody says, oh, same similar thing as the psychometry, I could just sort of say, well, okay, we've got this connection. Can you tell what I picked up from my altar? But it never actually came up while we were there. So we were driving home, and I said to Penny, I picked something up and put it in my pocket. To which you replied,
is it your beetle?
It was. I have a little blue scarab beetle that I got from Egypt, and that's what I picked up. And there was a number of different crystals that I'd kind of spent hundredths of a second thinking about, and then sort of, oh no, I picked that up. And yeah, and Penny guessed it, so bravo.
I just got the image of the beetle in my head, and I knew. I got the indecision first that you weren't sure what you wanted to take, and then I saw the beetle.
And then while we were coming home, I kept thinking, I want Chinese, I want Chinese, I want Chinese, I want Chinese. So when we got back, I said to Penny, should we have Chinese? Yep, I fancy Chinese. Good, I thought you might.
Yeah. Yeah, thanks for that. Dabbling in my head, giving me messages that I don't need. Yeah.
But no, I'd like it, yeah, if there'd have been some food, a food stall there, something snacky to eat, and I did think of something I'd like to have seen there, I can't remember what it was now.
They did a little visualisation class, and it does advertise that they'll do things like yoga if people put it through, and they were quite keen on me doing a doula stand. I haven't got time to take on more doula clients. I just haven't. I'd love to. It's not been very nice having to turn people away of late.
Well, no, but unfortunately, needs must when the devil drives.
Indeed.
We're all coming out of COVID, and we've effectively got to go back to work now.
It is true.
We set up a business and got our asses kicked by COVID, so we'll keep treading water and look like the gracious swans that we are, paddling like fuck underneath.
That is true. That is true.
So, but we've waffled for a bit. I mean, I hope you guys enjoy this sort of stuff. We do. This is the whole point of it. I tell you what.
And honestly, people need to understand that we have these conversations all the time. Randomly through the day, we'll just start talking about spiritualism or crystals or your connection to skulls.
Yeah, no, the reason I picked this up was because it reminded me there was something else I wished was at that stand, which was a stand that was a bit more masculine. And I don't mean that in the irony of the fact that I really like this pink stone, but I mean things like wands, altar cloths, statues of Herne, things that we can put on altars that are not girly,
so you're looking
all
more
the tarot cards are all
Wiccan.
girly.
If you're looking at altars, you're looking at Wiccan.
Yeah.
Yes, there was nothing Wiccan there at all.
So that was a little bit disappointed. It's always the same thing. It's always a cluster of ladies with pretty stuff, and it kind of. I mean, there was a couple of blokes there. Luckily, both my aura reading and my reading were both blokes, which makes a massive change.
And I was intrigued because John, your Norseman, did have runic sticks.
Oh yeah, he made his own runes. He got 2 sets.
Yeah, I saw them and I thought, I wonder if he does readings with them, or are they there just visually?
I don't know. I've started following him on Facebook now, so I'm going to stalk him a little bit and find out what's going on.
Poor man. Poor man. Yeah, there was nobody doing runes or anything.
No, I sort of thought of that. There was no runes. The other
and
one
they
I
want
thought
you
wasn't
to
there
narrow
was the
it.
Indian head massagey thing either. That wasn't there.
Oh, one of them would have done that for sure. I'm fairly certain the one that you were looking at for your shoulder massage, I'm fairly certain it said Indian head massage.
Oh, right.
Most of those massage therapies will do that.
Excellent.
But that's something that was interesting, because I've had Reiki healing at one of those before. Bearing in mind we're both Reiki masters, but I've been doing Reiki for a really long time, and I went and had a mini Reiki session which was just around my head and shoulders, and when the chap had finished, he said that was the weirdest thing I've ever felt. It felt like you were rising up out of the chair. And I thought, okay, that's a little bit weird, but that's quite cool. And Steve, the aura guy, when we were connected, he said you were rising up. I could feel the rising. And I thought, that's odd, because that's a good 15, 20 years apart that two people have said exactly the same thing.
You've raised me up.
Thank you.
No, I kind of wish if Steve had been in a private room and I hadn't had the sound of the room, I think the connection with him would have been a much better spiritual connection.
Interestingly,
him and
I've
John
looked,
both felt very powerful to me.
Yeah, they did, but in a very different way. John felt powerful, like bear powerful, raw power, and Steve felt like a gentle power that was just undulating the whole time.
Yeah, it was calm.
And he was spiritually communicating, because he was randomly turning and going, yes, yes, I know, to somebody over here, which I thought was brilliant. That was really good.
But no, so the next one, which I've put it in my diary, is the 25th, 26th of August.
And where's that?
Pass, I can't remember. I can't remember
That
where it
was
is.
helpful.
It was down south. It was Gloucestershire somewhere. So it's a couple of hours.
That's not down south. That's up. Gloucester's up, not down.
What, from Northamptonshire, babe?
Yeah.
No, Gloucester's down towards Devon, Bath, that way.
Oh. It's alright, I've got a sat nav.
Thank the Lord for that. Yeah, so no, that's a bit of a distance from. But what we did say to them was if we can find a venue near to us and try and get them to come up the border a little bit.
Yeah.
So try and get some people. But if you guys are interested, we're going to put some details up anyway. I only want to share it because I found it quite a profoundly brilliant experience. The two people that I connected with helped me massively.
And both are regular features at those things.
Yeah, and both are going to be there. So hopefully the next time we go there in a couple of weeks, I can be a bit more grounded and have one that's a bit more focused. But no, it's good. It is one of those things. As a life, I'm doing it day in, day out. Sometimes it is nice for me to sit there and be coached by somebody.
Interestingly, there was a lady there. It was the lady that I bought the smudge stick from. I also bought a book.
Oh yeah, I'm reading that.
And I bought it as a gift for you, and it was, what was it called?
How to Become More Spiritual.
That was it. And it
Which
was,
I did think at the time, did you just rub off the bit spirituality for dummies bit?
no, but it was written from her perspective, and she'd done the speech that we wanted to be part of about past life regression, and I wasn't sure whether you'd like it or not.
Yeah,
but
neither was I
actually,
with the first 2 pages.
You've really engaged with it.
Yeah, I was reading it for 2 hours this morning. I lost 2 hours of time reading that, and it was a bit of a confusing one, because the start of the book she started talking about connections with God and Jesus, and the author is Teresa Brown, incidentally, talking about her journey to God, and she's a child, and this book's got all the answers and the divine, and then when she gets to church, all the questions that she asks, and that's where I related. I was like, alright, that's why I got the draw to read this, because she had exactly the same process as me, except she was younger, as I did when I sort of was trying to look for this divine piece of knowledge in the Bible, which was just full of questions and unanswered questions that made no sense. And her process of questioning everything was exactly the same as mine. So that last 2 hours of reading that, I've covered her introduction to her, and it's gone over the Reiki stuff, but it's gone over it from her point of view, which, reading it as a Reiki master, I did glance past some of that and go, yeah, I already know all this bit, I know this bit, but the context of how it was written for somebody to become more spiritual, yeah, it made a lot of sense. I'm hoping there'll be bits later in the book that'll help me with some stumbling blocks. But this is all this is. It's knowledge. Knowledge is power, but it's the correct kind of knowledge. This is not propaganda based on news.
Or
this is technically real life stuff.
It is, or is it propaganda propagated from one person's opinion? It's their opinion. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's true and it's something that you should follow. You should research and read from many different viewpoints and perspectives to get a balance.
I didn't mean to go quite as deep as that, but no, I found it quite a good experience. It was nice to just go back, and it's the same as when we go to like little spiritual shops and you just mill around. They're just nice to stand in.
Sometimes they're nice to stand in.
I've been in somewhere I've felt quite judged, where I've kind of...
You feel like you don't look spiritual enough.
Yeah, people are sort of going, who the friggin' hell's this dickhead that's just walked in?
That's just any shop.
So that side of things, but in Steve's defence, he called me out on that. Once he'd done it, he said, so what do you think now? Because you didn't seem like you were convinced at the beginning. So no, I shook his hand. He's a good bloke. So yeah, it's good. It buzzed me up as well because there's too many women in this game. That's why I'm thinking I need to book at this thing as well. So there's more blokes there, plus wizards, shamans.
It's quite rude.
But yeah, so the next one's in August. I'll post the details of when it is. Come and meet us there. It'd be great.
Are we going? Then?
Well, no, I think you might be at work, so I'll be going.
Oh, I'm not getting my dinner that night then.
I'll get you something while I'm there.
You won't, because they
I'll
don't
get
do
you a crystal
food.
skull.
You won't, because they don't do food.
Oh, well, there was the bar. That got
There was a
bag
packet of crisps. It wasn't chips, it was crisps.
Yeah.
I didn't even get to eat them, because then that Steve came running at me and going, "It works now, come back."
That was the weird thing as well. When people say about occupying time and space and moments where you collide with somebody else's time and space, it just seemed excellent that at first it had gone wrong with Steve, and then I got time to go away and work with John, then come back, and Steve actually ended up kind of standing up looking for me and told somebody else to hang on. So it kind of, it worked. Yeah, just everything all came together at the right time, right space for it to work.
Absolutely.
But it was really good, and it just helps buzz you up. And that's what leads me to say we need to start doing some sort of circle here.
I agree. We need to take the Wiccan warriors into reality.
Yeah, it needs to be a metaphysical. Can't make August. No, of course you can't make August. You've got, God knows, a full month of dog shows in August. That's your busiest time, Marion. Used to be my busiest time. Oh, incidentally, we would have been at camp 2 years ago today. But no more dog training.
Can if you want.
Well, I am thinking of doing some podcasts actually on dog training. Just some simple ones about the sort of dog ownership for dummies kind of logic. My dog won't come back. Stop being boring then. Just that kind of stuff. My dog keeps running off. Your dog's a knobhead. Click it on the lead. Don't let it off. Just all this sort of stuff. Really, no, real motivational stuff.
Sounds cheery.
Right, let's wrap this up. We've done 50 minutes. This is good. I hope you guys have enjoyed it.
Did you want to, or not bother?
Can I come with you, Dad? What date is it? I don't know. You can give me some petrol money?
No, you can't. If I can't go, you can't go.
Yeah, we'll work it out. No, it was good. So yeah, by all means, come on. I don't know. Anything else you want to say?
Not really.
I feel like this one's rushed by. I don't feel like I've shut up the whole time.
You haven't really.
You have.
Been quite chatty.
I'm getting used to running these podcasts on my own. That's what it is.
I know. I'm not going to be here much longer. I can tell. Not as in, like, I feel myself fading away. As in, you're going to end up doing them all by yourself.
No, you're.
Because I'll be at work.
You got to do the Wiccan Warriors one with me. You can do my one on my own, but this one's our one. But we do need to bring it into reality, I think.
I think that we do. It will be much nicer to spend time with. It is nice to spend time with like-minded people, and not just that. I want to go on proper paranormal investigations again. Get that moving again.
Yes, we need to have a word with Mickey.
And come to your house. And
Oh, so you mean as in
just
cleansing and stuff?
do some cleansing and.
Well, to be fair, yeah, if there's a group of people nearby, 3 or 4 people, we can do a group reading. Let's do a party.
Partay.
A party.
That's not quite what I meant, but okay. Lovely Marion said, thanks, very interesting. Have a good week.
Thanks, Marion. Yeah,
Thanks.
we'll be here next week. Hopefully the weather will be better next week and we'll go out.
If there were more bodies here, we might have done some card readings, but there isn't.
Yeah, no, there's a few people that are busy doing stuff.
Indeed.
But if you're watching this back pre-recorded on YouTube, please drop a little like, share, subscribe and all that jazz. Help us on the YouTube. I ain't taking this stuff seriously anymore. Everybody and their mother's on in the internet now.
It is true. On Tinternet.
On Tinternet. So, yeah. Go on, though. You can do the wrap-up
I
sentence.
don't want to do the wrap-up sentence.
Go on, you can do it.
I don't want to.
Go on, do it.
I don't want to.
Alright, guys. Thank you very much for joining us. We hope you've enjoyed it. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. I've rambled on about my own experiences, so it's just blow my own trumpet. Bravo. What about you? Any final words?
You're going to hit end before I say them. Good night, everybody.
No, I wouldn't do that. No.
Thank you for listening to us.
Yeah, we've enjoyed it. We'll see you next Sunday. Bye.